Unprecedented times call for unprecedented conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the LaRuelist Cafe. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. Hello, hello, hello. Here we are again, the LaRuelist Cafe. As you know, I'm Janine LaRue, and today we have some amazing guests. I say that every time we come on, right? I say we have amazing guests because we do. And again, today we have amazing guests. I have a question to ask you. What would you do if you went to the 7-Eleven and decided that you were going to purchase a lottery ticket? You didn't pay a lot for it. You were going to purchase a lottery ticket, and you found out that you won over $400 million. Now, in these day and time, the real deal is everybody can use 1 million, but this family won 420 some $million. And we'll talk with them today. We're going to talk about what that felt like. We're going to talk about, what's it like to wake up the next morning and you are a real millionaire, a multi-millionaire, but more than the money. When you win money, and I can tell you a few things that I would do if I won that kind of money. But if you're going to win over $400 million, you've got to stand for something and decide how you're going to live the rest of your life. And the Smith family of Trenton, New Jersey, they are on this show today. Not all of the Smith family, but we have some great representatives of the family. And they are going to talk about what the journey has been like as a multi-millionaire. What did they do with their money? How did it shape their values? How did their values shape what they did with their money? So we're going to bring them on right now, one by one. Now, this isn't the Smith family coming on right now, but she's a part of the family now. Tara Butler. She is their community outreach specialist. And we're bringing Tara in so she can say hello. Hey, lady.
Hey, hi, Miss Janine. Thank you so much for inviting us on the LaRuelist show. Looking forward to the interview, and I watch you all the time, and I'm just ecstatic just to be here.
Well, let me tell you something, and thank you for coming on. When I saw that this family had won that kind of money, I said they really did hit the jackpot. But then when I heard they had brought you on, I said they hit the jackpot twice.
Thank you. Thank you.
So thank you, Tara, for coming on.
Thank you.
So is that the handsome Harold? Is that you? Harold said, yeah, that's me. He said, nobody told me I was on this show yet. How you doing, Harold?
I'm well. How are you?
Mr. Millionaire.
My name is Harold. And it is a pleasure to be here. And I'm excited about today's interview. And I'm looking forward to having a great conversation about some of the work we're doing here in our great city of Trenton.
Well, thank you so much for coming on, Harold. I've been watching you from afar, and I tell you, you're doing some exceptional work. We're going to talk about your background before you joined the Smith Foundation. You've always been in the Smith family. That's why you're a Smith. But I'm really glad to have you on this show today. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Looking forward to our conversation. Thank you.
Madam CEO. That's the woman right there. How you doing there, Katherine?
Hi, how are you? Hi,
I'm
everybody.
good.
Thank you so much for inviting us out today.
Well, we're thrilled. We're just thrilled to have you on the show. And I tell you, we're going to spend a little time with you, Katherine. This is Katherine Nunnally. She is the CEO of the Smith Family Foundation. And Katherine, you're one of the siblings.
I am, yes.
Right? You're one of the siblings. And yes. So we want to talk with you about what it was like. What it was like when your mother got that winning ticket. Give us a little background on this.
So it was a really interesting story. There's no words to describe how it was. Everything was just all over the place, and we were just like, yes, what's going to, what's happening? But it was, we were awestruck. So even when we heard when my mother, it actually wasn't my mother who told us what was going on. It was my older sister, Marcia. She's the one who called everybody. She called me at 11:30 at night, and she said, "Don't tell nobody." But I'm like, how am I supposed to keep this a secret?
Now, how long did you have to keep it a secret that you guys were millionaires?
Only until the next day after church. No, let me make that correction. From between ourselves. So there was, between ourselves, we kept it a secret until Mother's Day, after the next day. So she told me on a Saturday night, the next day was Mother's Day. We were all going down to the church, to my mother's church in Trenton, to have this big Mother's Day celebration. And my mom had a bigger celebration for us when we got there. So that was amazing. And then once we found out, there was about, oh my gosh, it was about 3 weeks. And it was the most frustrating 3 weeks ever, because we're anticipating.
Did you go in hiding, Katherine? Did you go in hiding?
Hiding. After we announced, we did go and kind of like, it wasn't really hiding. What we did was we went to this hotel, and we went, we pulled together a team, a lawyer, an accountant, the power team, the financial planner. And we as a family kind of went through, this is what's going to happen. These are the decisions that we're going to make. These are the real, kind of put together the entire structure of how we were going to make this money last from generation to generation. So that was what we did after we learned. But what I want to say, which is more important than that piece, for me, is that the day that my mother told us, on Mother's Day, we were all in her house in Trenton. And when we were in the house, the first thing my mother said was, we're going to go and we're going to do this, but everybody has to agree to tithe. And so we were like, we're all faith-based for the most part. And we all said, yes, we're going to tithe 10% to whatever. And the whatever happened to be the churches that we were attending and the formation of the Smith Family Foundation. So on the very same day that we learned we were, going to be blessed, because that's what we call it, the blessing. The first day we learned that we were going to be blessed is the same day that the Smith Family Foundation was formed. And that is the most exciting part for us.
That is so amazing. So it wasn't that you sat down and said, oh, I am a multimillionaire. I'm going to buy a big house. I'm going to buy these cars. I'm going to go on a trip. Your mother, because your mother bought the ticket, the winning ticket, right?
My mother brought the ticket. We had, yes. Yep.
And how many siblings?
There are 7 of us. And
7 of them.
This little pool is called It's called Big Mommy's Party. And we kind of pool our money together to do stuff. And my mother brought the ticket out of that.
So tell me something, because you're the first person I know who won real money in the lottery. I know some people who won a couple $1,000s, but you won real money. 400, what was it? 420?
It was 400
million?
It was 426 million before taxes.
Right.
Taxes are fun. So let's make some deduction.
Right. So did you go on a trip as soon as you won, or did the family go away and just kind of get together and relax before you started on the treadmill of being a multi-millionaire?
Nope. We
didn't go on a trip.
We didn't go on a trip. We did buy ourselves some big houses. Yes, we did. And some
and as well you should have.
Exactly. We brought ourselves. I mean, a lot of people that hear this story, I think that we were a certain kind of people before, but we already had houses and cars and careers, and we were already doing the work that we're doing now. We just were blessed with the opportunity to do it more and more effectively with money. So So we did. We went on trips and things a little bit later once the organization was established. Like my family just, no, I didn't go because I was running a foundation, but my family just went on a nice trip over Christmas break. But there's been some nice trips. There's been some nice stuff that's been purchased and some houses, but that was all after we made our donations.
And let me tell you something. I am so glad that you pointed out the fact of what you all were like prior to becoming multimillionaires, because I did my research on you. And when they lined up the whole family, it made it seem as though, oh my goodness, they didn't live a good life before they won the lottery. You all were doing just fine, educated, professional. People need to know the real deal. Absolutely. They just need to know. So I'm so glad that you mentioned that, because the Smith family was doing okay before they won the lottery.
You'd be surprised. Some people thought that there's 7 of us. Most of us are married. All of us have, for the most part, we all have children. I have 4 children. One reporter asked me if we all lived in my mother's house, 3-bedroom house, 1 bathroom, 7 children, their spouses, my mother, and all of our kids. And don't forget the dogs and goldfish. No, we didn't live all in the same house.
Well, you know what? And that's one of the things when we talk about why folks are marching right now, Katherine. Right. You know, people have a certain perception of African Americans. And it's really wild the way they view us. Absolutely. And so it's like all of these people living in a 1-bedroom house. Yeah, right.
Exactly. Yeah, sure we were.
Well, this is great. Well, I want to bring the rest of the team in on this conversation. Now, you're an educator, right? You were an educator. You were an educator before.
Yes, ma'am.
And tell me about that, your lifestyle as an educator.
So I started my career first off, I have to say I am a graduate of Seton Hall University, both my undergrad and my master's degree. I always shout out Seton Hall because Seton Hall exposed me to some things and helped me to develop into the woman that I am today. So I have taught all classes from kindergarten to 11th grade. And I also was a adjunct professor at Seton Hall University, working specifically with freshmen. My last tenure as an educator was at Girls Academy of Newark, which was the only public all-girls school in the state of New Jersey. So I've taught in public school, charter school, which are public schools, but they're charter, and private school. So I have a wealth of experience. But not only was I an educator, I also was an advocate for girls' empowerment. And I ran a nonprofit organization in Newark, New Jersey called God's Promise Community Development Center. So
beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Well, yeah, and I want to hear from, I'm going to bring our dear Harold in on the picture. Harold, how are you doing?
Well, thank you.
Good. Listen, tell me about your background, because you had a financial background before you got hooked up in this multi-million dollar operation.
Yes. So again, my name is Harold Smith. I am a husband of a beautiful wife, Tamika Smith, and a father of 3 great boys.
Now, Harold, let me say something before you go on with your story. I just need to say, see, any good-looking multi-millionaire who will come on to my show and immediately set the record straight. I am not available. Not only am I married, I got some other folks behind me. I love you already. Yes. Thank you for that.
Thank you very much. Prior to coming to the Smith Family Foundation and working with my family full time, again, I was a licensed financial advisor with with a financial institution. I won't give them a shout out because they are not in the best of lights right now. But needless to say, I worked in the financial industry for over 15 years, and I worked in various positions from a branch manager all the way to an advisor or as an advisor. But that was a great job, and kept food on my table, and it kept my bank account looking okay. But my passion has always been education. So even as an advisor, even while I was working for and with financial institutions, I've always taught inside of schools. I taught financial literacy at 7 different high schools in our great state of New Jersey, from Boardingtown High School, Northern Burlington High School, Rancocas High School, and some other elementary schools in the city of Trenton. I also taught financial literacy inside of our justice system at the youth correctional facility. Shout out to Mr. Davis holding it down with those young boys in Boardingtown Correctional Facility. So my passion has always been education and development of young people to ensure that they have opportunity and access to information in order to make better decisions.
So let me ask you something. Now, how do you fit into the family? Tell me where you are. Now, you are a nephew.
Son of the second daughter, or
You're
the
the
second
son of-
son of the second child. So my grandmother has quite a few children, but her second daughter name is Jacqueline.
Right.
And Jacqueline is my mother, and I am her second son.
So did your mom tell you that you were getting ready to be very wealthy at the same time that the siblings knew, or she had to keep it from you for a while?
So we all pretty much knew very much at the same time. It's funny because we are a family that communicates very well, but at the same time, we communicate sometimes in secret. So it's like somebody will call you and say, "Hey, this is what I know, but don't tell anybody." But at the same time, they done told everybody else. Right. So when we all get together, it's announced, but everybody already knows the announcement.
That's funny.
Yeah, it is funny, but it's really funny. But yeah, we all like Ms. Nunnally said, we all came together, and our grandmother gave us the information pretty much together, and we had a really solid plan and a really solid team to help us execute that plan. So we were all excited, but at the same time, we were all prepared to do our part.
How did you become the director of operations? How were you the one selected for that? Did they make you apply for the job?
Yes. So
Yeah.
Nothing is given away here. Everything you have to earn, and then you have to fight to hold on to it.
So there was no heir apparent. You had to apply for the job.
That's right. Everybody has to earn their keep here and apply for the job. So the way this works is we always, from the beginning, knew that we wanted to create not only a strong, stable foundation, but we also wanted to have a succession plan in place because we're looking to not only create a foundation for the here and now, but we're creating a legacy for the Smith family in order to be a part of our community from now throughout eternity. And I think the idea of Ms. Nunnally leading our family foundation was a no-brainer. I mean, she has the expertise, she has the education, and quite frankly, she is the best person for the job. Not only in our family, but we believe
you're getting a performance evaluation right now.
I didn't even have to apply. I didn't have to apply.
Yeah, she didn't have to apply. When it was decided, we all knew who the boss was going to be. But I think as we thought about succession planning and creating legacy and putting someone in place to ensure that we go to the next level and that we continue doing good work, my family thought it would be a great idea for me to be that person. And I agree with them. And I'm just humbled and looking forward to living up to all the things that we are expecting to do.
Beautiful. Well, we're gonna bring your community engagement person on. Because I want to know more about how did you land on this job? You've had some nonprofit work anyway, right?
Yes. So I was formerly the director of operations for an amazing organization called A Better Way. They focus on the reentry component of the criminal justice system.
All right,
And
hold it right there. Hold it right there. Perry Shaw, you see, she's giving you a shout out. You better, if you're not watching this right now, you better watch it and share it around. Thank you. Go, Tara.
So I ran the day-to-day operations in conjunction with running the women's group, the Queens of Purpose. And as you know, with nonprofit applying for grants, organizations struggle, especially the small grassroots nonprofit organizations. They really struggle. So I was, teeter-tottering in between going back to school because I had my master's, but I couldn't decide if I wanted to do the PhD or law school. So I was in between, positions. I also served as a community engagement specialist for the Shiloh CDC. And I know previously, early on, I had applied to the foundation, but they were just starting out and it was a small, they had a small staff. So I attended I believe it was the Coffee for the Cops. And I ran into Miss Nunnally and she let me know that they were having, they had an opening coming up soon. I thought she was just playing around. I didn't really think that she was serious, but she was. And it's the best move I could have ever made. I love the other organizations. The other organizations are amazing. But when I tell you the work that this foundation is doing for the city of Trenton, their passion and love for the city. And I'm going to be real. I don't know if I won all that money. I don't know if I would have stayed. I'm being honest, but they did. And they're just wonderful. And I'm not just saying that because she's my boss, but they're amazing.
Well, and you know what, Tara, that's the thing I want to talk with her about, though, because not only did you stay, you actually bought a building in, we're getting some feedback. I don't know why. Not only did you stay, you actually bought a building in Trenton. You renovated a building in Trenton.
Yeah, our headquarters, 407 West State Street.
Yeah.
That's a no-brainer, right? We're Trentonians. We come from down the bottom. And if we're going to work in Trenton, we're going to be in Trenton. Our headquarters is going to be in Trenton. Wow. So we're accessible for Trentonians to walk up and knock on the door. And the building is beautiful. It's
gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. You had a great contractor. Your contractor, yes. Tracy, has actually been on the show. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He did a great job down at the foundation. And we're trying to restore that building back to its original historical beauty. And we have some amazing things coming through there. You'll walk in and you'll see, you'll feel the love of Jesus, because that's what we promote, and you'll see purple everywhere. So when you walk in, it's just a family oriented place where
I want to know about this purple, because see, I'm looking at Harold. I'm looking at your lipstick and what you have on your shirt. I'm looking at Tara. Tell me about this purple. And if I had known, if someone had sent me a memo, I would have put some purple on today too, you know.
Ask that who helped us get on your show. But purple is the color that we have chosen, and everybody knows purple is royalty.
Yes, it is.
Purple is also the favorite color of almost everybody in the Smith family, from my mother to myself. Even I think Miss Tara, isn't one of your favorite colors purple? I think she just adopted purple when she came to the foundation.
My mother's favorite color was purple.
Wow. But almost every one of us, I think there's about 50 of us, and maybe about 4 or 5 favorite color is not purple.
And you kept them on?
Yeah, we should just kick them out, right? But it was a no-brainer. It's purple and gold always.
Now, I came to your building one day. It was almost time for college to start. I saw all these laundry baskets full of a whole bunch of stuff and laptops everywhere. What do you do with college students? What's that about?
So we give college care packages to graduating seniors who are on their way off to college. One of the things that happened to me in particular when I came back from my first year of college in the summer, I didn't get a party or a celebration, but I knew a lot of other people who were coming home from being doing some things that they shouldn't have been doing, and there was these big parties and these big celebrations. And so I wanted the freshmen to, one, feel like they were being welcomed back into the community, and that the community was in support of them going off to college. Like, this is a big deal. But the other thing is sometimes our kids go off to college and they don't have the basic supplies for what they need. So you have first generation low income students who are going off to these universities and colleges, and they don't have basic needs, or getting the basic needs may put their families into some type of financial stress. And we didn't want our kids from Trenton leaving Trenton without having the basic needs that they acquired. So the first year we gave out 200 college care packages. The second year we gave out 300. Last year we gave out 400 college care packages because we extended it out to Mercer County, and we do some stuff in Newark and East Orange. So
Wow.
all of the students went to school with college care packages. Some of them got the little refrigerators, and thanks to Ray Ingram at the Trenton Digital program, we sent last year 150 kids off with laptops, in addition to board members who donated some brand new computers to our scholarship awardees. So this is a community collaboration. We also had banks, Merrill Lynch, JP, what is my bank called? Kate Sweeney Group over at Morgan Stanley.
Right.
They donate packages, and Johnson & Johnson donate laundry detergent. And our donor, our CPA is a donor, and they the Wilkins Group, they give us packages, and they just load our kids up with food and non-perishable foods and laundry and just whatever they need to make it, at least for that first semester.
So tell me about what have you done with COVID? Because the COVID-19 is really, it's tearing us down here in the city. Have you gotten engaged in that at all?
Absolutely. I'll let Harold explain what our work in COVID has been.
So, as you know, the entire world knows, COVID-19 really put the brakes on a lot of things. But the Smith Family Foundation recognized that our job is to really build leaders and help the great city of Trenton become its actualized great self. And in order to do that, we recognize that even though COVID put a lot of things on pause, there was still a lot of great people doing a lot of great work. And we wanted to make sure that that great work didn't go without the resources that it needed in order to really support the community. So what we did specifically for COVID is we actually launched a series of mini grants where we offered grants up to $1,000 for organizations who could put into place some sort of support to help the community with either a virtual or distance learning educational services, or with some type of social, emotional, or physical and mental health type of meeting service for citizens of Trenton. And organizations who could meet those needs via virtual services or by some sort of distance learning, they were asked to submit a small one-page grant request and a one-page grant budget summary, and we did a quick turnaround in order to meet those needs immediately for those organizations up to $1,000. And we serviced over 10 organizations with these mini grants for COVID-19 in order to ensure that the citizens of Trenton had resources in the sphere of education and social emotional support. Another thing that we did regarding the COVID-19 epidemic that hit the world, but specifically Trenton, is that there are a lot of people who were out of work because of COVID-19. Mm-hmm. And the foundation recognized that even though we are designed to support nonprofit organizations, not necessarily individuals, we didn't want to see individuals suffer. So what we did was we put together a program where we were able to get individuals in our city laundry cards and
Are
food
you
vouchers.
serious?
Yes, and food vouchers in order to ensure that as many people as we could physically support ensuring that they can get their clothes washed. You know, I know it sounds, you know, mundane, washing your clothes, but there were people who because of this epidemic, were having a hard time washing their clothes. And it should never be a decision whether to wash your clothes or to pay your rent. No one should have to battle with that. So we made a conscious effort to help our citizens or help our city by offering citizens the ability to do their laundry by creating a system where we were able to distribute laundry cards and vouchers to help not only our citizens, but local Black-owned businesses, Black and Brown-owned businesses, by providing food vouchers for our citizens to go and patron those stores for groceries.
I think you did something at Big Easy, didn't you?
We did.
Yeah, because I used them a little bit too much, you know, that whiting, the whiting, those wings, I you know, but I gotta use Big Easy. They're good. Yeah, so I donated and they said, no, the Smith Foundation has been very, very gracious to us.
Yeah, and we've worked with them in a couple different capacities. I know they worked with Dr. Arthur, who is our board chair, in other capacities as well.
Beautiful. Now, I'm going to bring Tara in here because I want to know how we're outreaching to the community.
So my job is pretty much to build the bridges between the community, the small grassroots organizations, the nonprofits, schools, other funders, and especially the community in the city of Trenton. We're out there, we're out in the streets, and just to let them know that, you know, we're here. There are a lot of things that the community of Trenton don't know that the Smith Family Foundation takes part in. And especially with scholarships, we do a lot with the scholarships. So I'm out going around to the schools along with my colleagues Tyrell Smith and Cherie Short, just to build the relationships between, you know, the foundation and the schools. In regards to the grassroots organizations, we offer a community empowerment class. So we bring them in and we, you know, try to help them understand, you know, how to structure their organization. We help them with how to write a grant, also leadership development and organizational development. So I'm out there in the streets and just pretty much, you know, building that relationship. And we have something that's coming down the pipes, which is our nonprofit incubation center. And that term incubator and incubation center, they're used interchangeably. So they're used for collaborative environment designed to help startups. So the term is taken from the biological process. Incubators are where youngs are hatched and nurtured, hence incubation center. Yeah. So we're excited about this, and keeping that in mind, the foundation, the Smith Family Foundation's nonprofit incubation center will help startup organizations in the city of Trenton and the greater Trenton area, specifically our nonprofits and grassroots organizations, developed by providing their services like leadership, community, and organizational development and trainings, in addition to providing a brick and mortar building location where they'll be able to have affordable office space, with hopes that they'll eventually become sustainable. So that look out for that in 2021.
This is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I want Katherine to tell me, what's Mama doing? Is she coming in?
Mama is doing absolutely whatever she wants.
I am feeling
that. She makes it very clear that her role is to sit back and look pretty and make sure that we're standing in the right direction. That's her. She does whatever she wants, whenever she want to do it.
Let me just say this to you, Katherine. I had an opportunity with one of the big fundraiser, raising money for the kids in Trenton and the area with tennis. Mm-hmm. And I had the amazing honor to sit at the table with the Smith family. And it was absolute royalty. Your mother, you know, when I think about her today, just being in her presence, so humble, so very humble and so clear. It doesn't surprise me at all that she, along with her children, would win over $400 million. And this is the story, this is the legacy that she would want to leave behind. Just amazing.
My mother and father, my father passed away a few years, not a few years. I think I was 13 when he passed away. Um,
Wow.
but from the very beginning of everything, they've always instilled in us a few things: faith, family, and sowing seeds into whatever. The whole idea of sowing seeds, not just plant with the garden, because I have this whole story about a garden, the garden that my mother had us plant until in the ground. But the most important thing is they taught us and instilled in us that faith is first, family is second, and then we have to give back to the community. It's always been back to the community. We were always working the ground. We were always tilling. We were always planting and picking. But at the end of the season, we were always giving the food away. We were always sharing with our community, and they instilled that in us. And if you look at the job choices and the career paths that all of us went into, from the children and the grandchildren, and hopefully some of these great grandchildren that's up and running around right now, it's always been about making sure that your community is also served, not when you made it, but while you were moving along the path. So,
Yeah. You know,
go ahead, Harold.
I'm sorry. I was just going to say it was really encouraging to hear from the young lady who was inside of our community conversation last week, who testified before the 100 or so people who was in that conversation, that she was a recipient of some of the fruits and vegetables that came out of the garden of my grandmother on Asbury Street. And I was proud at that moment, because it was a testament to the community, how they were able to, really share in the harvest that my grandmother created and planted many years ago. And now, as I am an adult, we are again sharing in this harvest, and the community can benefit. It's a different dynamic, but it's the same story. And I was just very proud of that when she said that, how she would go into my grandmother's garden and take apples and pears off the tree, and take bags of fruit home. And now that we're in 2020 and the foundation is doing some of the great work that we are doing, and I'm not ashamed to say that we're doing great work, it's affecting people's lives, and people are again sharing in this harvest. So I just wanted to say that while we were on the subject.
Absolutely.
Well, you know what, that's a mouthful, and I am blessed to just know you folks. I'm blessed just to know you and to be a part of this history, this legacy. Trenton is blessed to have you here. You know, you could have gone to Princeton, all the places you could have gone, and you made a decision to stay here. How can we be helpful? What is it that we, the community, could do?
There's a few things, and a lot of people ask us those same questions about why did we stay and how we could have went anywhere. And in all honesty, Janine, there was never a question in our mind about what we were going to do and where we were going to stay and how we were going. The how came later. But the fact that we were staying and we were going to do something to help our community was never a question. So when people say that, it's humbling. But if they only knew, we struggled in Trenton, but Trenton makes the world takes, right?
Yeah.
but there's quite a few things that people can do. And I want to start off with a few things that I think are very important, especially in this time frame that we're in when it comes to COVID and it comes to the racial unrest in the community. I want to talk about what can people do to help with what's happening. First of all, people need to remember that we are in COVID-19. And when we're out protesting, number one, please, please, please stay protected. Still wear your face mask, try to stay in social distancing. And I'm saying this specifically, it doesn't help the foundation per se, but it helps our community because we see the health disparities in the Black community, and we want to make sure we save as many lives as possible. So remember, when we're out there protesting, and you should be out there protesting, and you should be out there marching, we're out there right along with you. Wear your face mask, bring your hand sanitizer, bring your water, bring your protest sign, but stay in social distancing. That's the first thing that we want to do. The second thing we want to put out there to help is hold people accountable. Hold your elected officials accountable for making sure that what's happening in our communities don't go unchecked. A lot of people are, what are we going to do? What is Trenton going to do? How is Trenton going to make it past this? Hold your elected officials accountable. Hold the police department accountable. But most of all, hold yourselves accountable and hold each other accountable. Why? Because we are the citizens, and we have the voting power to make sure that things go in the direction that the citizens needed to go. Vote, vote. Vote. If you're not registered to vote, vote. Vote. Get registered to vote and vote. If the census hasn't closed yet, if you haven't completed your census, complete your census survey. Why? That's how money comes into the community. Vote. That's how you get the right representation. Don't take it for granted that whoever's going to be in office is going to have your best interests at heart. Hold them accountable and make sure they know what your best interest is. And one of the other things, two more things that I think are very important, and I'll try to go quickly, is one, during this racial unrest, hold your allies accountable. Help them have real conversations with your allies so that they can have real conversations with their sphere of influence. Why? Because they'll listen to them much easier than they will listen to us, and they need real information. I know some people believe, hey, you go out there, you do your research, and you figure it out by yourself. But research, reading books, all of that stuff is wonderful, but relationship is what's going to change the hearts and the minds of the people. And if your friends come to you and say, how should I talk to my family about racial injustice? Share, and don't be afraid to share. Share the open, the honest, and the truth. And the fourth, I think this is the fourth thing, but the fourth thing that I can say is make donations to your local nonprofit organizations who are doing the work on the ground to make sure that our city is moved into a stronger position. Don't be afraid to make donations to organizations who are led by Black and Brown executive directors. It's very, very important. There's so much research out there that shows that nonprofit organizations, especially that's led by Black and Brown executive directors, are not getting the kind of funding they need or equal to those organizations who are run by white executive directors. There's a lot of information out there that supports that statement. So don't be afraid. We're out here doing the work too, and we need the support of our community. I'm very adamant on this point, and the Smith Family Foundation is working very, very hard with all of the grassroots organizations that have applied to our nonprofit incubation center. They've applied to our Forever Forward grant. It is our duty to give as much education and capacity building to these nonprofit organizations as possible. That's what we are designed to do, and that's what we're doing. If anybody want to make a donation to help further this work, they can just go to our website, www.s as in Sam, F as in Frank, F as in Frank, NJ.org, and make a donation. All donations are tax deductible, and the work will get done. The work is getting done. Together we will win. That's the bottom line.
Together we will win. And you know what? I want our viewers, you've had quite a few people here today watching this show. And let me just say this to you, take it back to your family, you already know it. It wasn't the money that made you rich. You were rich before it ever happened. You were rich before it ever happened. And I wanted you on this show because I wanted people to know who the Smith family really is. And let me just say to the folks who are watching this, you don't even have to live in New Jersey. Google search the foundation, Smith Family Foundation. You want to give some money? Throw some money this way. You know why? Because they're giving their money away. They're giving it away and they're doing great things in the city of Trenton. And when we look at this city and see a whole different city, because we're making progress, we are making progress. And when we get to that part of the journey and they begin to tell the story, you guys are going to be right up there. You're part of this legacy. So thank you so much for coming on. We have Tara. Thank you so much. I love you, young lady. You know that for many, many years. I'm glad you are where you are. Thank you so much. Harold, who is married. You know, Harold, you know, your aunt actually put on the comments, he sure is. And she even put your wife's name up there. we know it all. And God bless you, Harold. You are just one amazing young man. I'm glad you're there, a part of the bench, part of the legacy to keep this dream going. Thank you for coming on this show. Appreciate it so much. Katherine?
Yes, ma'am.
Katherine. You know, a couple times when I wasn't on the screen, I was almost crying.
No.
Because you folks are just awesome. Thank you for what you're doing. Take it back to Mom. She and I are contemporaries. I am so happy and proud of what you're doing. And you know what? If we don't know in this city what we got, we better know it. Because you all are doing the hard work. And we appreciate it.
Thank you. This is all God's work. Thank you so much. And can I give one shout out to the rest of my team who worked really hard. All of you, Dr. Arthur, Dr. Kobina, Sharice, Tyrell, Seaman, Tila. Who else wasn't on? Miss Teska. I don't know who else wasn't on the screen, but if I forgot somebody, I love you. I love you. I love you. And the entire board of directors at the Smith Family Foundation. Thank you so much for allowing us this space and time and opportunity to share with you. Thank you.
And you'll be coming back from time to time because you're doing so many programs. I want people to really get to know you. I do.
Thank you. I hope we can come back and talk about our Forever Forward grantees and bring them on. So
love you, lady.
Around. Thank you. Love you.
Bye. Bye. There you got it. And I don't know if you caught on to all of it, but if you really want to be wealthy, you better stand for something. This wasn't happenstance that these folks won over $400 million. Somebody knew it way down the road before they were even born that it was going to happen. And we thank them for coming on. And to our viewers, every time you show up, Janine LaRue is excited. LaRuelist Cafe, thank you very much. Have a blessed night.